Welcome to Headline to Heartline. At the doorway between headlines and home truths, we take a breath before we step inside. Today we're talking about Céline Dion in 2025, and why each new sighting or whisper matters to so many of us. She is one of the rare artists whose voice feels like part of our own memories, which is why updates about her health travel fast and sometimes get tangled. My goal in this episode is simple: separate what we know from what we hope, and treat both with care. Here are the facts. Celine has a confirmed diagnosis of stiff person syndrome, a rare neurological condition that can cause painful muscle spasms, stiffness, and sudden loss of balance. Triggers can be as ordinary as loud sound, bright light, or emotional stress, which means everyday things: walking into a crowded room, sitting in a cold arena, even laughing hard, can carry risk. In her documentary I Am, Céline Dion, which I watched, she lets us see how those spasms can seize her body without warning, how they interrupt breath and voice, and how rebuilding strength is a daily job. She talks about a demanding therapy routine with physical, vocal, and athletic work. None of this guarantees a full return to the stage, but it does show her grit, discipline, and love for her craft. Now, about Las Vegas in October 2025. When the first stories popped up online, the accompanying photos were grainy and distant, and I said what many of you said: it's hard to be sure. Then I went deeper and found what explains the shift in tone you're hearing everywhere. There are several attendee-shot videos from that Paul McCartney show, different people, different angles, clear enough to pause and look closely, and they show Celine in the stands with her sons, clapping and lifting her hands during the set. That is why the conversation has moved from maybe to she was there. My personal assessment, as your host, has changed from cautious to confident based on those multiple, crystal-clear clips. Do we have an official statement from Celine's team? Not yet. Would I still welcome a close, unmistakable photo or verified video from her camp? Absolutely. But the volume and clarity of fan videos from that night make this, in my view, confirmed attendance. And I'll add this from the heart. I hope she has more nights like that, visiting places, traveling carefully, and enjoying concerts, because anyone living with SPS deserves ordinary joy. If you're finding this helpful, please like and subscribe so more listeners can stay informed with compassion. Let's widen the lens for a moment, because part of understanding the noise around Celine is understanding the illness itself. Stiff person syndrome is rare, which means good information travels slowly and rumors travel fast. It often takes years to diagnose, and in the meantime, people are misdiagnosed with other conditions. That's one reason celebrity stories get messy online. Take actor and comedian Adam Devine. Many of you know him from Pitch Perfect and The Righteous Gemstones. He has talked publicly about being misdiagnosed with stiff person syndrome after years of complications from a devastating childhood accident. He is not a confirmed SPS patient, and his story illustrates how easily symptoms can be misunderstood. You may also see the name Dr. Amanda Piquet. She is a neurologist and recognized expert who treats patients with SPS and often appears in coverage of Celine's case, but she is not known to have the condition herself. And then there are quieter names like Allison Lafferty, a teacher and coach diagnosed in 2021, whose story reached local news when Celine's documentary raised awareness. These are public people, not global superstars, and that distinction matters. It reminds us that SPS isn't a headline machine. It is a lived reality for patients and families who are navigating work, school, and daily safety. So where does that leave us for 2025? Real is that there is no cure yet, but there are treatments that can help manage symptoms. Real is that recovery is uneven. Some days invite a small victory, other days close the door early. Real is that Celine continues therapy and makes occasional, carefully managed public appearances. Rumor is anything that leaps from a hopeful night in the stands to promises of a world tour, or that reads a few seconds of video as proof her voice is fully restored. When in doubt, look for clear sourcing and simple, verifiable details: who said it, when they said it, and where it happened. As we close, I want to speak directly to those of you who loved the documentary as I did. Watching her be that vulnerable changed how I read every update. I saw the freezing spasms, the careful breathing, The way a therapist's hand on her shoulder can be the difference between standing and falling. I also saw her humor, her tenderness with her sons, and the way music still lights her from within. That is why a quiet night at a concert matters. Not because it signals a grand comeback, but because it signals a good moment in a life that has become a series of measured steps. Thank you for spending time with me today. If this conversation helped you understand Celine's 2025 story more clearly, please subscribe to the channel and tap like so others can find it too. Until next time, we'll meet again at the same threshold and step carefully from headline into heartline together.